It was the winter of my discontent. The first of many, as it turns out, because I did not yet know that I am a sufferer of seasonal affective disorder. It was the night before exams, my junior year of college, and I was wandering. I was literally wandering from dorm room to dorm room, bothering the crap out of everyone. You see, they were doing the thing that everyone is supposed to do the night before exams, which is what? You can drop it into the chat. What are you supposed to do the night before exams? Study heavily, yes. Or drink heavily and play Skip-Bo and watch Days of Our Lives on the VCR because it was the 90s. I was wandering around having the same conversation with everyone. Should I drop out of school? Should I take a semester off? Or should I just keep barreling forward? You see, a few semesters before that, my uncle had died of AIDS here in Atlanta without telling anyone in our family that he was about to pass from the earth. And that had led me into a deep, dark depression. It made me question who I was, who our family were, that he would feel like he needed to hide from us. But here I was, struggling with this decision, wandering around, talking to everyone, having the same conversation everywhere I went, bothering the crap out of all of them, when finally, after I'd had about the 5th or 6th version of this conversation, finally they said, enough. We've had it with you and your angsty business. We nominate you to go down to midnight brunch on our behalf. You see, at the sweet little liberal arts college where I went in Southwest Virginia, all of our faculty and administration would show up the night before exams, and they would do the sweetest thing. They would serve us pizza and eggs and waffles and syrup on a styrofoam plate, do something really nice for us before they would slowly kill us for the next 2 weeks. And we would all show up in our pajamas with our Norton anthologies tucked underneath our arms and have a blast. And then we would go back to studying or drinking and playing Skip-Bo and watching Days of Our Lives on the VCR. So I thought this was a wonderful idea. As my friend said, get out of their hair, get out of my head, do something useful for a minute. As we all know, during these times, sometimes doing something useful is the thing that makes you keep going. So I was coming back through my dorm yard, arms loaded up with pizza and eggs and waffles and syrup on styrofoam plates, when all of a sudden I had one of those moments. They happen to me a lot. Perhaps they happen to you as well. When I'm in one place and then I'm in another. Frequently there's a lot of pain involved. This time I found myself horizontal on the ground, and it was sponsored by the fact that someone had left a cap half off a pipe in the yard. And if I thought I was existentially stuck before, now here I was quite literally stuck because I could not pull my foot out of the pipe. Help! Now, again, this was the 90s, so it was before the days of ubiquitous cell phones where you could just pull a little thing out of your pocket and call somebody. Help! Now, most of y'all seem to be a certain age, but you're not all in the US, so I may need to take a moment for a little history lesson. A few years before this, baby Jessica had fallen down a well. 18-month-old infant wandered out of her home and fell straight down into the earth. I remembered it distinctly because they preempted the 4 channels that existed at the time, because this was before the days of ubiquitous CNN news coverage where, if something major happened, they just stopped what was happening and you just watched. I was incensed with baby Jessica. I was undone. I was too young to appreciate the gravity of the moment. So as I lay there, all I could think about were the helicopters and the spotlights down in my face. Hour 18. College student Shannon Turner has been stuck in this pipe for 18 hours as rescuers have struggled valiantly to free her. Help! Until finally, one of my friends, looking for her pizza and eggs and waffles and syrup on a styrofoam plate, came out onto the balcony and heard me calling into the darkness. And then she came out into the yard and she said, "What's the matter for you?" Well, just stand up. Right. You see, laying down as I was causing my foot to point out like this, but as soon as I stood up, it caused my foot to point down like this. And so I was easily able to pull it out of the pipe. And so these days, sometimes when I feel like life has just knocked me down, sometimes I'm able to remember all I need to do is just stand up.